And we're ready. So hey, I'm glad you are here. We're going to go ahead and get started on today's class. This is part of the Samson Success Series. Of course, you know I'm Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor here at Samson. So today's session, we're going to walk you through having fun and creating the wow factor. The reason that this is an important component or piece of the puzzle, you know me and my puzzle pieces, is because it creates a unique wow factor that your clients will remember. And that's what we want. So that when it's time, that was good. So when it's time for them to think about you or keep you top of mind, when their home no longer meets their needs and they need a real estate agent, hopefully you've impressed them and you're good to go. So as you know, part of all of this is putting your puzzle pieces together. This is your real estate business. And as you've heard me say before, most brokerages say, we have all this great training, here it is. And agents go, what am I supposed to do with it? And what you are allowing me to do is take you through methodically and put the pieces together in order. So hopefully at this point, you have all either started on or in the midst of working through the Samson Jumpstart series. There's 4 sessions in that series, and that is going to lay the groundwork down for this and some of the other sessions to fit those puzzle pieces in. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. As always, want to thank you for being here with me today. We've got some in our audience as well. If you are looking for the handout, it is in the nest under resources, and it's also in Samson University's now that we've got that up and going. So handouts are there for you as well. Special thanks to Cardinal Title, as always, for being our sponsor and keeping us up and going. We appreciate them. And by the way, they're phenomenal. So if you haven't had a chance to use Cardinal yet, please, on your next transaction, tell them I sent you, and let them work their magic and do their thing and impress you with how they dot their I's and cross their T's and make sure everything works. And if you're representing the seller, you can request that the buyer consider using Cardinal Title as well. I'm going to make sure that we get some more information up and available to you guys as to how that gets done. But I know it's being done, so awesome. All right. Here's a couple of suggestions regarding the handout that you're going to print out. First thing you want to do is, when you take a look at it, you're going to see that it is done with a checklist format to walk you through methodically. I'm going to ask that you put a 3-hole punch in it and put it in a 3-ring binder. And then that way you can use it as you're creating your own custom training manual, if you will. And then when you get ready to meet with either me or your broker, or your mentor, or your coach, or whatever, I'm hoping that they will ask you to bring your manual with you. And that way they can see what you've gotten done, what you haven't gotten done, where you still need help, or where you're stumbling and where you're missing pieces. So we make sure that our time together is as effective as possible for you. Then the last thing I want you to do is remember that the page numbers coincide with the page number of the slides. So if you're working along the handout and the slide, for any reason you get distracted or taken away, they do go hand in hand, and I usually double check them to make sure that they coincide with each other. Okay? So a couple class rules, as always, for those that are here with me as well, or on watching it from home remote. Please have your phone off or on silent for a few minutes. Yes, I got mine off. I double checked. Okay. So I want you to be open to some new ideas, because we're going to bring some new aha moments to you, and I hope that you'll be open to them. I always ask, may I have your permission to be blunt and honest with you? Tell you what you need to know, and not always what you want to hear. Are you okay with that? Give me a thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up. We're good. All right. So the next thing is, hear my heart, forgive my mouth. Because every once in a while, there's a few things I'm really passionate about. Usually, I've gotten better over time. So usually, I'll catch myself and either warn you it's coming, or take a deep breath and go, okay, you gave me permission, here it comes. And then I'll shoot it out. So, but always hear my heart, please, if you would. So the next thing I want you to do is, you do have to laugh at my stupid jokes. There you go. I heard the giggle. I got the giggle. So that's always good to know. And then I want you to learn something. More important, I want you to learn something at the end of each session. When they're live with me, I always ask, what's your aha, what's your takeaway? And then if you're online watching this, shoot me an email. Tell me what your aha takeaway is. What was it you grabbed from this session? And the reason this is so important is I used to watch agents all the time, run around to every training that was available, and then you'd ask them, so what was your aha takeaway from that? And they go, oh my gosh, there's just so much, I don't even know where to start. And you ask them that same question a month from now, and it's the same answer. And then 3 months, same question, same answer. And a year, same question, same answer. And you're going, no wonder why your business is still in the toilet where it was a year ago. Because you haven't done anything with what you learned. And again, this information is no good whatsoever. None of it is. Whether it's my stuff, Donnie's stuff, Sarah's, David's, any of the other great instructors that are around, any of the professional coaches out in the industry, the stuff is no good until you decide that you're going to take it, implement it, and start running with it. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know, I use the analogy with it, it's kind of like the vitamins, the one a day. You don't take the whole bottle at the first of the month and then wait till the first of the month to take the next whole bottle. You'd be sick for starts. But it's one a day, one a day, one a day, one a day. So what is the one thing you're going to learn and put together? What is the one thing you're going to learn and put together? What is the one thing you're going to learn and put together? What is the one thing you're going to learn and put together? Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to put your pieces of your puzzle together, and you can start seeing it all come to fruition. So I'm going to encourage you to always learn something, always have your aha takeaway, and then along with it is what is the one thing that I can take that I just learned today and go put it into action and make it part of my life and part of my business. That is where the growth comes. That's where the magic comes from. There is no magic pill. There is no magic wand in this industry. It is the work that goes into learning it. And I always encourage agents too, you probably need to go back and listen to these sessions 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's how our brains work. If you've ever had kids, you know that. They learn it in class, they come home and do the homework, then they have to go back and then they have their test. Even when you took your real estate exam, you learned it in class, you had your practice exams, you had your reviews, you studied again, and then you went and tested. That's 5 times. So this material is no different. That is how our brains work. And that's why I have the checklist for you as well to say, okay, am I doing that? But how well am I doing that? Or even you may go back and listen to it and say, okay, I know that. Okay, you know it, but are you doing it? And how well are you doing it? Can you make it just that little bit better? Can you just make it a smidge better? Remember we talked about being the uncola? Do what the other agents out there in the industry, okay, hear my heart, forgive my mouth, remember you promised I could do this, that are too lazy to put the stuff together. So be the uncola, be unique, be creative, and you can still have fun with this business because this session today is all about having some fun as well, okay? Whew. Thank you, we got that. All right, so also, again, if you don't implement what you've learned, you got nothing. So there you have it. There's the groundwork for success. Boom, we got it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. In each session, I do have a word of wisdom for you. And in this one, it says, make sure that everyone who works with you or for you feel the need to tell others about you. Now, this was Disney, Walt Disney. I'm from California originally, an hour and 20 minutes from my driveway to the front door of Disney. All right, middle of the week was always the best time to go, by the way. And that was Disney's philosophy, is you create an environment that people are so excited to experience, they A, want to come back, and they want to tell their friends about it. And that is what this concept is all about, is being creative, being unique, being a little bit different, creating that experience that your clients are going to be talking about you till the cows come home. And it just automatically flows. So there's your words of wisdom for today. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. You ready? Thumbs up? Yeah, we got it. Let's go. All right, so the first thing I want to start talking about, it's on page 2 of your handouts, is working with kids. Now, this was probably one of the funnest parts of my business. And I'm going to give you some quick things to do. So first off, always let the kids know that you are going to need their help. I would sit them down and say, okay, I'm going to need some help, and can I hire you? And they'd be like, oh, you need to hire me? Well, yeah, I can do that. So I let them know what their job is. I would actually make them little name badges as well, and I would give them their tasks of what they needed to do to help me along the journey. So I would also find out what their favorite color was and what type of sports or activities they like to do, whether it was, gaming or sports or ballet or whatever. And then I would make a sign for their box. That's coming up next. But when I would talk to them, I would also let them know, and usually the parents were close by and obviously overhearing this, I also let them know that if anyone ever came to the door and knocked and said, I saw the for sale sign, I want to come in and see the house, no, they do not let anybody in. And I make the kids promise to never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever. And then we start doing this little never, ever, ever dance with them. You look like a dork, but it's okay. Parents are giggling. But the kids get it. So if anyone ever comes to the door and saying they want to come in to see the house, no, absolutely not. They need to go through the chain of command, and obviously do not let them in, but go get a parent immediately. Now, sometimes you got kids that are home alone every once in a while. Never, ever, ever. So I always made sure that my business card with my phone number on it was on a magnet on the refrigerator if it would stick. They also, if they were old enough they had phones, I plugged my phone or my number right into their phone with them. And they knew that if they were ever home alone and that happened, they were to call me immediately. And not that it ever happened, but the parents were relieved to know that I'm concerned about the child's safety as well. And then they start thinking, oh yeah, that could get bad really quick. So you let the kids know they now work for you, and what you need to do to help, what they need to do to help you, and then if anybody comes to the door, no, they do not come in. All right, once we start going out and seeing houses, I literally would have them be my assistant. Now, I taught a couple of them how to put the little key thing in and how to open a combo lock and get the key out and unlock a door. I'm right there. The parents are right there. It was all good. But I only did that with one or two because I knew they could handle that. I had their little name badge. They had their little clipboard. And I would assign them tasks such as they had to go with me, and we would go into a room as the parents are looking and doing whatever. They were to count how many outlets were in that room. Then they would report back to me, and we would jot it down. Then we would do things like they were to check to see if there was the rubber spring thing at the back of the door to keep it from the doorknob from going in the wall, or some sort of buffer pad or something. And they got to learn about the different kinds of door buffer pads as well. So they would check to see if there was one there. I even went as far with one, Richard, who, phenomenal little helper. He's now in high school, can't believe that. But I got him a 3-foot measuring tape. And I taught him to measure from the water source to the outlet. Because an outlet 3 feet close to a water source was supposed to have the ground fault switch interrupter type outlet that would trigger if it got wet. So he learned about that. And he was old enough that when I was explaining it to him, I found out he then went and got a book from the library to read about electrical wiring in a house. And he was in elementary school at the time. So, but he learned to come and help me. And it was great. One of the fun things we used to do every once in a while is we went into a house, and again, this was when there were a lot of vacant homes, so you could get in and kind of, roam around a little more freely. And if there was a closet, I'd put him in the closet. No, I didn't lock him in the closet. Come on. So I'd put him in the closet and the sliding door, and I'd always have, he knew I was right there, or my fingers were in the door, and I'd yell to his parents, hey, oh my gosh, you've got to come see this closet in this room. It's amazing. And so they would come in. Now, they didn't see him, so they knew what was going on, but they would open the closet door, and he would jump out and scare them, and it would always get a big giggle. But that was just the fun of working with the kids. If not, what are they going to do? They're bored. They're going to run around like, chickens with their head cut off, jumping on things they shouldn't be jumping on, bouncing down the stairs, sliding down the banister, God only knows what. So when you get them under your little wing and work with them, the parents are like, nice. So, but it turns out to be funny when the kid, come Friday, goes to the parents, are we going to see Miss Lynn this weekend? Because I need to work with her. So that's the fun of working with kids. But do encourage them in. Now, the other thing I used to do fun with them is I would sit them down and I would let them know that part of the fun of this was I got to give the parents homework. And they usually thought that was a hoot and a half. Yeah. So I would say, okay, so here's the rules though. If mom and dad or whoever the adult being is going through their paperwork, you be quiet so they can get their homework done. Okay, just like they're quiet when you're getting your homework done, you be quiet when they're getting their homework done. But if their eyes start rolling around in their head, or they start making funny faces, or they start going, then you would call me and let me know, because I can handle them. So if they start, and I'm sitting there making silly faces, and the kids go like this, and they'll make I go, yeah, exactly like that. So if you see the adult making that kind of face, just give me a call, because I can take care of them. And so it became this, giggle fun as well. But they also knew if mom and dad was doing their homework for me, they needed to be quiet so mom and dad can concentrate on getting their homework done without interruption. Parents were like, love it. So that was a great one to do. Now, one of the things that I loved doing with the kids as well is, let me check my slide real quick, see if I've, okay, so we catch up real quick. So we do have meet with the kids, let the kids know that you're going to need their help, find out what their favorite color and sport or activity is. Then I would, and again, these things I'm going to show you, most of these are available at your favorite Target or Walmart. And I would go get a pack, and I always had them, a pack of the pastel colors. It's just, regular 8.5 by 11 paper. I also got the neon colored one. They're less than, I'm going to say $3, $4 for the pack. And when they told me that blue was their favorite color and they liked a particular sport, this is what I created for them. Now, this would also go on their box. Now, one of the things I quickly discovered and found out, that when kids start realizing there's going to be packing and moving, they're going to start acting up, especially if they're little. Because all they're panicking over is, how is Teddy Bear going to know where we move to? How will Teddy Bear know what will happen? How long will Teddy Bear be gone? And then they'll start acting up because they don't understand how this is all going to happen. And so by having, they got their own cardboard box. Yes, I'd buy it, and yes, I'd bring it to them. I'd have their sign on it. I'd have them help me tape it down. And I would tell them that anything special that they wanted from their room would go in their box. Then I would have a special box, and that was for the last minute things that would go in that they would take with them in the car when they moved. Because the minute they see that moving van show up and boxes start going in, or the boxes getting packed up and piled up in a room, they're going to start acting up, and rightfully so. So they just need to be reassured that all of their treasures are going to go with them and nothing is going to get lost, and you're going to make sure that that happens. Boom. Parents love it. Kids love it as well. Okay. So we talked about it when the kids see the parents start making funny faces, they're to give me a call and let me know, because I can take care of it. And then I assign them tasks. So let's say the little one is old enough to straighten up the pillow on the sofa. That's her job or his job. The other one is to make sure, depending on their age, to make sure that the trash is emptied out, especially if they know that a showing is going to be held. So they each have little tasks that they need to do in order to work with me and for me as well. And then they have to let me know that those tasks have been done, or mom or dad will report in that they have gotten done. And then I usually have some sort of reward for them either during the process or definitely at the end as well. So it is funny when the 3 to 4-year-old, her job is to make sure that the little blanket is cute on the corner of the sofa and the pillows are up pretty. And when somebody comes in and sits down and the little one turns to the adult and says, "Excuse me, I just put that pillow up there. Don't go messing it up. I'm going to tell Miss Lynn." It's hysterical. It is hysterical. So it's just part of that engagement with them and part of that fun. So there you have some great tips. All right, so we talked about the bonus is to go ahead and put their names on their boxes. And I find out, there goes my puzzle pieces, I find out that, let's say Susan likes basketball and blue is her favorite color. I'm going to put a large clip art of a basketball on there at Susan's room. And I will probably print maybe 4 or 5 of these, and they can tape them down to the boxes as they start packing. Now, he or she will have the one, and then they'll have the special one. The special one is the one that goes with them that night or that day that they move. Okay? It travels with them. That way they are not panicking and throwing a fit over where's their box with teddy bear, blanket, whatever it is that's near and dear and special to them. All right, so that is a great one to have. And I'll tell you what, parents love it. Absolutely love it. What did it cost? You know, a couple of pennies, 2 minutes of time to print a sign and tape it on a box. So easy breeze. And again, you don't have to go to the big boxes, go to the little boxes so the kids can haul them as well. All right. So the other tip I want to share with you that is, again, having fun and helping the family with a move is duct tape. It becomes your best friend. So what I started doing was every time I'd go to the store, duct tape, especially if it was on sale, I would pick up a couple. That was good, huh? Okay. So what we would do is I would give them a couple rolls of duct tape. Each kid got a different roll based off their favorite color. And on either the corner of the box or across the top of the box, so it could be seen from any direction, a little bit of duct tape goes on it to color code the box per room. Now, I'll tell you, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it's been, when we moved across country, I did this. My movers loved me. Anybody else that has moved and has done this, their movers love them. Because instead of boxes coming off a truck and it just getting piled up somewhere, they were able to color code it easy at a quick visual sight, and they knew exactly what room it needed to go in. So, and when we moved, I got painter's tape, so not to mess up the doors, and I would put like a red piece of paper on the room that had the red. And then blue, gray, whatever, because don't forget I had the pastels and the brights so I could go with it. They actually asked if they could hire me to train people how to pack and move, because they said this is a game changer for them as well. Because as they're taking stuff off the truck, they could stack it up, 4 or 5 high of the boxes, and they have these fancy straps that can lift them all at one time and haul them in. So it made their time more productive, and it made your time unpacking a whole lot easier because you knew what was in that room belonged in that room. So, thumbs up on that one. That's an aha. That is an aha. So, duct tape becomes your friend. Colors, patterns, stripes, you name it, it is out there. Get to know where your duct tape is in your favorite stores and stock up. And again, I just had a whole collection of it after a while, but I knew I was going to go through it. So, it just makes life so much easier, creates that wow, and it's like, okay. All right, so we talked about the kids' box of favorite things. I always recommend, and again, that's the box that's going to go with them, and I would have the conversation with the parents as well. The PJs would go in there. In fact, I'd encourage the parents, go buy them a new set of PJs. So they got a fresh set of PJs as they got to their new house. If they liked having a book read to them, or they like to read at the end, before they go to sleep, put a book in there. And Bernstein Bears has a cute book about moving day. I've not seen it in the stores for a while, but I know you can get it online. I know it's still in print. So check it out and see if you can find it. I think it's called Moving Day. It's a Bernstein Bears storybook. Again, great for kids because it lets them know their stuff is not going to get lost. If they have a favorite stuffed animal, usually most kids have more than enough stuffed animals, but let's say they don't, you can always buy one for them as well. Make sure they've got their toothbrush, a hairbrush that's in their bag or the box, and a nightlight. Now, I often would buy nightlights and make sure that they had one, and it was in their special box. The reason for that is you've got kids that sometimes are afraid of the dark if they're little, and you're putting them into a different layout of a new house. And mom and dad's bedroom used to be out their door and to the left, and now it's out the door and to the right. And you don't want them waking up in panic in the middle of the night, not knowing which way to turn. So I always made sure that they had a night light that could either be put in their room or in the hallway or whatever, just until they got acclimated to the new house and was comfortable in it. Parents go, God, I never thought of that. Yeah, so I never thought of that. All right, so those are good things to go into, their special box. Now, if you've got kids and they're moving in the middle of the school year, then have one for school supplies. Because there's nothing worse than knowing that they've got their notebooks and their pencils and their whatever all those school supplies are, and they don't know which box they're in. And there's 20 boxes in their room, and now they've got a project to do, and they're freaking out because they don't know where their stuff's at. So group them together, put them in one box, get them their sign that says, Bobby's school supplies, and boom, if he needs it, he's got it, he knows where it's at. Okay? Aha, I'm getting thumbs up. That's an aha. Okay, wait. There's more. You ready for more? Okay, I'm getting a uh-huh. All right, when you've got kids as well, one fun thing to do for them is a going-away party with their friends. Now, oftentimes they're moving within 10 miles, but if they're moving away, and again, depending on what age they're in, granted there's all the social media, and most of them have phones these days, there's still a little bit of a panic of will I see them? Will I see them again? How is this going to work? So I often would do a going away party for 10 of their friends. Now, typically the moms are going to bring the friends over. The moms are going to find out that you're hosting this for them. It's going to cost you a couple pizzas and the little bottles of water or the little bottles of Gatorade or whatever. But it allows you to connect with not only the parents of the other kid. I'm getting some out of the audience. Yeah, doing goes the light bulb. All right, so you can have that, and again, it is inexpensive. It is fun to do. You can do it a week or 2 weeks before moving date, and you have a chance to interact with the parents from the other kids. Can we all say brilliant? Brilliant. Okay. All right. So another thing that you can do with them, and again, I know they all have phones, a lot of them do, but I would still take my phone and I would take a photo of the two kids together or the group of them together or whatever. And I made sure on little 3x5 file cards that the child or the mother of the child would put the kid's name, their address, their phone number, if they have an email, whatever, all on the card. And I would get these little inexpensive photo albums. Oops, it's not on there. The little photo albums is in your handout, or I'd put the kid's picture. Yeah, I'd go get them printed out. I'd put the kid's picture on one side and the child's contact information on the other side. Again, minimal cost, minimal effort, but the wow impact. So I'm getting the heads nodding going, yes, all right. That way they've got it before they go. And again, it's creating that wow factor. All right, a couple of other things you can do is, I got my little prop table over here. You can go find all kinds of little color word search, all kinds of fun things regarding moving. And again, this is just a one-page, back-to-back printed, and we've got a little one that's in this age bracket that would enjoy something like that. Again, it's just to keep them busy. Okay, that is able to be done as well. Another fun thing that I always did, Santa key. Now, kids are going to panic over, how is Santa going to know where we moved to? And I often provided them a Santa key. Now, this was a Christmas ornament from years ago. They're still around. You can, Amazon, you can find anything. So go on and find it. I mean, this was an inexpensive one. It's got the red and gold cord on it. It says Santa across the top of the key, and there's just a cute little key. And what I would do is I would then go to the dollar store and buy they have the cute little boxes, especially if there was one with Santa on it. Now, yes, I'd have to take the key with me to make sure they'd fit in the box. But then I would give the child the box with the Santa key in it on real pretty tissue paper underneath and say, you know what, you leave this out for Santa. There's a special tracker in here. Shh, don't tell Mom. But he'll know exactly where you're at. He'll find you, and you're leaving him the key. All right? And especially for homes without fireplaces, because I know I had one time that had a fireplace and was going to a home without a fireplace. And the little one panicked with, how is Santa going to get in? And I said, oh, I didn't tell you yet. I know Santa. I know him. And he's given me some special keys that he can use when he touches it. The magic comes into it, and they'll unlock the door. So I will get one and give it to you. All you got to do is just leave it on the porch for him with the reindeer food. Santa's getting in. And the parents are like, love it. Child was happy. They had their Santa key. The cute part of that is, obviously, a couple that I did that to are well past that age, but they still have their Santa key, and they still put it out for tradition. So, great tradition, great thing. But again, it keeps the child from having a meltdown because they're concerned with, well, how's Santa going to get in? How's Santa going to know where I'm at? So, problem solved. And you look like the golden hero. Yes, all right. So that is a great one. Another one that you can do is, depending on obviously what season it is, but you can do a going away party in the backyard for the kids. You can get glow sticks, you can get sparklers, and yes, you can even get bubbles. These are the best bubbles, by the way. Walmart. They come like a pack of 6. Give the kids bubbles. There you have it. All right. They can have, now I got bubbles all over the place, but they can have fun with it as well. Glow sticks, you can get those at the Dollar Tree anytime. They pretty much carry them year-round. Sparklers. If you need sparklers, I got a bunch of extras, so we're good. Let me know. And sidewalk chalk is another one that you can have the kids do a contest, or they have to draw a picture on their sidewalk or in their driveway or whatever. So all kinds of fun stuff that you can do as well. Now, I've even had the friends who live in the neighborhood, because when I was talking to the mom, getting the information, and I'd say, okay, may I contact you? Because what I want to do is the day before moving, we want their friends to sneak in, color the driveway for them or color the sidewalk for them, and then they'll be surprised when they come out in the morning. We've even done that. So, yes. And, even when there's HOAs, a little bit of chalk on the sidewalk, the next rain or the garden hose is going to take it away, so it's all good. All right. Now, other fun stuff that you can do, especially when you're trying to bribe them, pay them to do their chores and to help you and to work with you to keep everything up. Whether it be Dairy Queen, whether it be 7-Eleven, Slurpees, whether it be, I had one teenage girl that was, Mom and Dad had gone through a divorce. She was not happy over it. She was doing everything she could to undermine it. And her bathroom looked like a bomb had gone off in it. She was a preteen girl. Think about it for a minute. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But she was leaving stuff out that shouldn't have been left out. And so I finally had to talk to her and said, okay, this is what we need to have happen. Found out she loved Bath and Body Works. So when she did, each time I would add more money onto the Bath and Body Works card for her. I think it was like $5 a pop or something. Game changer. So again, you're just developing out that relationship. The father loved it. The father's now telling people that he knew that, what I was doing and how I was helping his daughter, and create the wow. All right, so there you have it, some additional ideas. Thumbs up? Thumbs up. All right, now let's go on, because wait, there's more. Okay, so we've talked about the duct tape a little bit. There's also, and sometimes I used to have a U-Haul place that had the storage unit that I used to go in and buy these. Obviously, price has gone up on them a bit, but you can still find them even online. The tape that has the color and like the kitchen, bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever. So those are an option as well. Sometimes I would get one pack. It'd be less than $20. And usually I would take it to the client either when we first got started or when I came to present offers. And my comment to them is start packing. And and again, $20, not a big deal. And then I made sure the kids and everybody else had the colored duct tape to mark the rooms based off where the stuff was coming out of. Okay, now this one is one of my favorites. It is the house hunting survival bag. One of the things you do not want to have happen is when you are out with clients is have their sugar start to crash. So you want to kind of keep their energy up and their energy going. Now, I'm going to stop and do a quick plug. I know that a lot of agents have asked me how to actually do a label. So connected to this series, this session, I'm going to be doing a little blurb, about a 5-minute video of how to create the labels. Easy breezy. So look for that. If you literally do not know how to do it, we'll do a quick how-to video and add it in there. So when I did the initial buyer or seller consultation, I would always have them do a concierge form. And yes, we're going to make that available to you as well. But I have the concierge form, so I knew what flavor of a particular tea he liked. I knew he liked M&Ms. I knew she just liked water, but she liked this particular snack or cracker. So whenever we were going to be going out, I would get these little bags. You can, this big or this big, Dollar Tree. 2 or 3 of them for $1. I think it's $1.25 now, but still $1. Create the label to go on it, and you have a house hunting survival bag. So whenever I would meet them, it'd be here you go. So it would have their drink. It would have their one snack-em in it. I probably throw in a couple of the either mints or the lifesavers that are individually wrapped, just so that if they needed it, they had it with them. In there, I would also include a highlighter pen, an ink pen of mine, my lenders, my companies, whatever, and then whatever properties we were going to go see, as we would go out, they would have the property MLS, the client copy, not the agent copy. Don't ever do that. And then the how they rated the home. And again, that's going to become and made available to you guys as well. So in there, their little snack-em thing, they are good to go. They are ready, and we're off and running. So easy breezy. The little sticker would look something like that, house hunting survival bag, put a cute little clip art on it, make sure that you've got a royalty-free image if you're going to put it on there, and that's what it looks like when it's all put together. There you go, cute as can be. Less than $1.50 for the bag with everything in it. Again, probably less than $2 or $3. Does that create a wow? Absolutely creates a wow. Again, the last thing you want them to do if you're out for several hours is seeing multiple homes, which typically we do, is to have their energy starting to run low or be dehydrated at all. So that was why there was always a beverage in there as well as a little snack in there, and they could eat it in their car from point A to point B. So awesome, thumbs up, yes indeed. All right, the other thing that is easy to do, and I used to always have this at the office, is a grab-and-go snack basket. This also works great if you're doing open houses. Because again, there's still some concern about germs out there, and that's okay. So by having a grab-and-go basket, either at the office, if you've got somebody coming in to meet with you, again, typically a lot of times they're coming in after work, and they may not have obviously have had their dinner yet, and they may just want something to hold them over. So I had got, again, I used it for years, this cute little basket. I had I think it was a red and white checked napkin that laid out in it. I'd have all the stuff in it, and I'd put the napkin over the top, the second one. I'd bring it in, I'd have it in the conference room or wherever we were going to meet, and when they got there, I just pulled the top napkin off, and then I'd have other paper napkins in there if they needed to grab one, so they could grab a snack and grab a napkin if they needed something to hold them over. Now, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't, but they loved the fact that it was there, okay? Now, I'm going to throw in a bonus for you because I just thought of it or remembered it. I didn't think of it. I've already been using it for years. Whenever I had someone coming into the office, again, depending on where you're going to be meeting them, if there is a TV screen in there that you were able to hook up the computer or your laptop to, okay, I would always do a welcome sign with their name on it, okay? It'd have the company logo up there in the one corner. I'd have their name and either happy house hunting, or if they were there to sign papers for final, congratulations on the buy, congratulations on the sell, whatever, but their name, so the company welcomes their name, and I would have it on the big screen when they came into the conference room. Now, you really want to wow them and do one step more. This actually belongs in the buyer and seller consultation class, but you're going to get it as a bonus here. I would do on a sheet of paper, company name, Samson Properties, welcomes, John Smith, John and Katie Smith, it would be on there. I would put it in either a picture frame that stood up with, with a little back thing on it, or one of those plastic things. I would have it on the front desk when they walked in, so they could see it. What did it cost me? A penny maybe 30 seconds a time. Because once I did the logo, or once I had it set up, I just kept it. And all I had to do was change the name. And I'd have my name down at the bottom. So when they walked in, they knew that A, I was expecting them and remembered. And if we were going to meet in a particular conference room, if there was more than one, I'd specify which conference room we'd be meeting in fine print at the bottom. Sitting on the front desk, they're impressed. It's only up there for a couple of minutes just before they show up, and then obviously you take it down after they leave. Did we just create another wow? Yeah. I think we did. Okay, so there you have it. All right, the other thing that I always encourage agents to do is to have an emergency kit in the trunk of their car. Now, it has always been said, ladies especially, we should have a pair of tennis shoes or boots, like rain boots, in the trunk of our cars in case of an emergency, in case of a flat tire that you're stuck on the road, or the time that 95 got shut down for hours on end and people had to get out and literally walk around. So, but if you're going to be going and seeing property, obviously, here's a few things it's not a bad idea to have in a bag, a box, a tote, whatever, in your car that's easily accessible. Obviously, hand sanitizer. Because I'll tell you what, sometimes when you've opened some of those lock boxes, they were grody, and you were going to get some sort of something off of them. So just having hand sanitizers is always a good thing to have in there. Gloves, okay? Always have some extra gloves in there just in case. Shoe covers, just in case, your shoes are muddy, kick your shoes off. And if you don't want to walk through someone's house with, barefoot or socks on, then throw the shoe covers on, all right? Extra toilet paper, extra paper towel, just in case. A flashlight. Absolutely, we should all have a flashlight with us at all times. And then an old pair of shoes, boots, and an umbrella. Now, I always used to love taking my clients, especially if we were under contract on a house, and it started to rain, we're going to go see the house in the rain or immediately thereafter. Now, being from San Diego, we didn't get rain all that much, but when we did, San Diego's not designed for rain. It puddles and floods and goes where it's not supposed to go. Here, you get it enough that usually it goes off where it's supposed to be. But if you've got, and I would always tell my buyers that as we find the property, once we're under contract and it rains, grab the boots, grab the umbrella, we're going. And you casual attire, but you go, I want them to see, and I want to see, where does the water roll or flow to in a rain? Okay, so figure out how to make that happen, and that is always a good thing. Now, if the property's vacant, that's an easy one to do, but just be aware that that's something to put on your radar to utilize that as often as possible. Okay, got another couple of wows. I'm seeing some heads nod and some holy mollies going on, so take a breath. We got more. All right, ready for the next component. Now, this, again, was creating that wow factor. Regardless of whether I was the buyer or the seller, I always put together, and again, I'm talking $10, $15, $20 at the max for a cute little basket. Dollar Tree becomes your best friend. I would have in there a brush, a roll of toilet paper. I know this is just me, but well, maybe some of you do it as well. So I would always make sure, if it was my home or my listing, that when my movers moved out before the buyers came in, I double checked that there was still toilet paper in the bathrooms, because sometimes people will leave them, and other times it's like, I'm not leaving a darn thing, and they strip it. So I always made sure there was, a paper towel in there, there was toilet paper in a bathroom. I would include some sort of a spray cleaner. Even if the house was cleaned, there's still some people that are very OCD about germs, and they just want to wipe down everything one more time. You can add room freshener in there. You can add disinfectant wipes in there. One of the things that is my OMG, this little guy, okay? It is called a drain rooter, a snake, okay? You can get them at all basic hardware stores. You can also find them, unless I've gone in and bought them out, Dollar Tree carries them, okay? So for $1.25. Now, I've heard plumbers say, oh my God, these are the best things ever. I've heard some say they don't do the job. Yes, they do, to a certain degree. When I found these puppies, I started including one in the basket, because it could be hair, soap, toothpaste, shave cream, whatever, that just slows the drain down. So when I was doing a listing, I made sure they all got one of these too, and I'd tell them, you know what, just run it down the drains. Now, if your drain is starting to run slow, it's gross, but it is so cool to watch the gunk come out and the water go down. Just saying. So that's another cool tool to have available. I would make sure my sellers had them. I would make sure they were in the baskets for the buyers as well. Because again, we don't know how the previous owner cleaned. We don't know if the drains were cleaned or sluggish or whatever. So again, for $1.25, obviously at Dollar Tree, $3, $4 at the other stores, it's still a great item to add in as well. There you have it. There's your wow. And I would make sure that I also had a card, welcome to your new home, that went in the basket. And if I was the seller side, I would leave it for the new buyer. I would also try to leave in 6 or so water. And I would usually take my little paper and create a little sign that says welcome home and stick it in the refrigerator with the water. Okay? Again, we're talking a few dollars, but such an impact on that wow factor. Now, I will tell you, there have been times, unfortunately, where I was on the seller side, the buyer never heard from their agent again. But several years later, when they were needing to move because of job relocation, guess who they called? Because I'd left the impression, in one particular case that comes to mind, I knew that the agent had not stayed in touch with them. That's a whole story of what not to do at some point, I'll share. And so I just stayed in touch with them every couple of months with a newsletter until the time came that they were now going, hey, job relocation, we're going to move. Would you come talk to us about listing the house? Yes, I can do that. All right, so create that wow factor, referrals, repeat business. You never know where it's going to come from. All right. Here is a free report that I will get put into the Cardinal Nest and Samson University as a bonus that goes along with this session. It is a free report on 10 things a buyer needs to consider changing out when they move into a house. The first one, please, is always change out the key to the front door or the back door. Change the locks. Has it happened that Uncle Joe got out of jail and decided to come back and visit not knowing that they had moved? Yes. Has the brother that was living in the trailer in the backyard that was now PO'd because he was informed his free ride was over and he had to get out and move his trailer with him, still had a key that nobody knew about, and when the new family moved in and had all their electronics brought in, and then they went out to dinner because they hadn't had their kitchen set up yet, and he decided, oh, good timing. He came in through the back door because he had a key and decided to help himself to some of the new electronics and some of the new stuff that was there. Has that ever happened? Yes. So always, always, always start by having your buyer change out the lock. And now I know that some home warranty companies will offer that as a perk, as a bonus right away. So just know if they're not going with a home warranty that covers that or will do that right away, still get it done right away. Get those locks changed. Horror stories till the cows come home. So, but again, some other things on that list as well to consider, and so that'll be the bonus. Look for it in Samson University for you under bonus, under this session. Okay, another thing that I used to like to do is I would never just hand keys over. I'd usually put it on a cute little key ring, oftentimes with a home sweet home or a welcome home type tag on them. Sometimes you can find them at your various stores. Walmart used to carry a great line of them. I used to buy them out. You can also find them online now as well. But just have this, cute key, and then sometimes I'd even go as dorky as putting a bow on it. So again, they would love that as well. All right, another fun thing to do that again takes minutes to do is a return mailing a label, one sheet, 30 labels. It takes less than 5 minutes to do. My bonus how-to session coming up is going to be attached here, as well as on other sessions to show you how to create a label if you do not know how. So by leaving a sheet behind in their basket, again, creates that wow factor. And I would do it on both the buyer and the seller side, obviously if I knew the address, which I did, because if they were buying, I knew the address. If my client and they were selling, I typically knew where they were going. So I would create it for both sides. Now you can say, but Lynn, everything's done electronically now. Yeah, it is, but there are still times that something needs to be returned by mail. And so there's nothing sweeter than handing over this sweet little sheet with 30 return mailing labels on it. Or if you use the little tiny ones, there's 60 of them, okay? Minimal effort, minimal cost creates the wow, okay? Your possibilities are endless. Are you starting to see that now? Because your little brain's starting to go click, 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 click. Oh, I've seen this. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Each of these things are minimal in cost. A brand new agent who's on a budget like this can still do several of these things without breaking the bank. It's okay. This is the fun to create the wow, to create repeat or referral business. We got it. All right. And wait, there's more. So once you've got the client settled into the new house, you can invite the neighbors over to come say hello to the new neighbors. Now, you may invite 5, you may invite 10. But it gives you a chance to go meet the new neighbor, the neighbors as well. Okay? Yes, you can mail, Samson's great about sending out the, just sold postcards. But nothing's better, especially if it's in a close, little community, that you can go to 5 or 10 or whatever you want to do and say, hey, just wanted to stop over and say hi real quick. You have your little invitation done. Zoop. And obviously set it up with your homeowner first. Don't just show up and do it. Somebody asked me that one time and I thought, did I really need to say that? Apparently I did. So, and yes, she was blonde. So, hear my heart, forgive my mouth. My blondes here are laughing. Okay, So I would double check with the homeowner when we could do it, never on moving day because it's chaos. But I would just take the quick invitation to the 5, 10, 15 neighbors and say, hey, if you want to stop over Saturday, they're just doing a meet and greet for the neighbors. It's only a half hour, not 2 hours, half hour is all it needs. Stop over, grab yourself a bagel, muffin, whatever, juice. Doesn't even have to be coffee, just to be juice and a roll, or because you can get those anywhere. And again, less than $20 to be able to pull that one off. And it gives you a chance to meet the neighbors as well, to say, hey, I'm Lynn. I'm the one that helped them buy their new home. Would love to introduce you to them. They're a great person, great family, great couple, whatever the situation is. They have the cutest dog ever, by the way. And we just want to invite you over for from 9 to 9:30 on Saturday. Just bop over and say hi and come meet your new neighbor. Okay, and they love it. Now, you can also do, pizza on move-in day. Now, because you know what? They haven't even found their pots and pans, let alone where the kitchen's at half the time. So I always tried to have pizza either delivered to them, and I would let them know ahead of time. I'd find out what their schedule is, and I'd say, hey, okay, as part of my, my gift, I'm going to have pizza delivered. How many people are going to be there with you that day? And they may tell me there's 10 because they've invited family or friends in. Awesome. I'm going to make sure there's enough pizza delivered and a couple of sodas delivered to the house, or I will even do it, depending on where it's at and what I've got up. So the juice and the donuts, the muffins, or the bagels in the driveway. I also have another agent. She gave me permission to share this. Leanne would do every so often, because she wanted to get to know her neighbors, she would do hot dogs in the driveway. So she'd just get her big crock pot out, dump the hot dogs in there, let them steam and plump up. She'd have the buns in a little individual bag, so there's nobody handling them. The chips, the grab and go, the little drinks. People would stop over, have a hot dog in the driveway, chit-chat for a couple minutes, and off they'd go. She'd do it for about an hour, once a month, and she eventually got to meet most of the neighbors around the neighborhood. Because if they didn't make it the first time, they would often try to make it the second time. The other one I heard that was done, which I thought was great, is they did a progressive wine tasting. So we would start at one house, and they'd have 2 wines, and not a whole bottle, just a little bit, and they would taste, and then they would vote on which one they liked better. They just have a little ticket, and they put it in the container by which one they liked better. So then the next week, it would be the winner plus a new one, and they'd match the 2 of them up, and they would do the same thing. Stop over, have a sip of wine, vote, see which one you like the best, and then the winner against a new one the following week. And she developed that out, and it was brilliant because it's how she got to know her neighbors, and she'd always have her name badge on, sometimes upside down, and because she was out seeing property earlier that day and forgot to turn it back around again, but it gave her a chance to get to know the neighbors and softly let them know that she was in real estate and had her newsletters out and other stuff. So I thought that was a good idea as well. So again, your possibilities are endless. Endless, endless, endless. We getting it? Boom. All right. A couple of other ideas you can run with. Fall's coming up. Pumpkins. Not for everyone in your database. You can get 10. You can either do it from your database, your top 10 of your sphere of influence, or you can do your neighbors if you're farming your neighborhood. Get 10. Get them out. Have a pumpkin carving contest. You just leave the pumpkin and the instructions and tell them they need to have them carved. And when you and your secret team of judges would be coming back through on Saturday, the date, between 5 and 5:30 to take a look at their pumpkin. And all they had to do was have it on the front porch. Okay? And then the winner would be announced, and there you got it. Okay? Fun, fun, and fun. Sidewalk chalk drawing contest. Sidewalk chalk is inexpensive, especially the houses have kids in them. Again, their job is you create the theme. It could be ghosts and haunted houses and spider webs for Halloween. It could be a turkey for Thanksgiving. It could be Santa and a Christmas tree that they need to draw in their driveway or on the sidewalk in front of their house this themed item, and that you and your secret team of judges will be back through on Saturday at 4 o'clock to judge, and the winners will be announced afterwards. I see some ahas going on. I see these little going on in class. That's good. All right. Another one, back to school. Do kids go through pencils in school? Oh, yeah. So you can certainly buy pencils anytime. You can buy them seasonally for fun. If you're in a neighborhood, if you're farming a neighborhood and you've kind of gotten known them a little bit, most parents are at the bus stop with the kids in the morning. A lot of them are. You go down there and you have the magic pencils for them, and you give them all some magic pencils. Now, I got a cute story to share with you on that one. So years ago, we always had tons of kids coming through the house. I was working for the school district. This was long before my real estate career got started. And the kids got their candy, they got their glow sticks, and then I'd also give them the magic pencil. And I would tell them that it was magic, so not to lose it, and that if they did their homework with it and then used it when they took their tests, like their math test or their spelling test, they would probably get a better grade because the pencil was magic. They bought it. They believed me. So fast forward a couple weeks, we're now in the middle of November, and was at the school doing something. My daughter was in elementary school still, and one of the aides was telling me about this little guy that she was working with. Well, I knew the little guy, and came from a rough home, definitely had some challenges, and he was going to do a test. Oh, wait, I have to get my magic pencil. I need my magic pencil. So he runs back to the classroom, gets his magic pencil, comes back. Okay, he was ready to sit down and take his test. And she said, magic pencil? And he goes, yeah, it's magic. The lady that gave it to me told me that if I did my homework with it, it was magic and it would help me do better on my test. And I started to smile and giggle, and she goes, oh my God, that was you. I went, it was. I said, so did he do his homework? She goes, yes, he did. Did he do better on his test? Yes, he did, because he had done the homework. And it was like, I will buy him pencils till the cows come home. And sure enough, we kept him stocked with magic pencils. So, did it pay off? I think so. And I was happy to do it. And he never knew where the additional magic pencils came from, because they would just show up magically on his desk in his classroom. Just saying. Yes, I have fun in this world. All right, so school supplies for kids as well. All right, so some other fun things that can be done is, and it's on page 6, I believe, of your handout, a special day plate. Now, Hallmark used to, in fact, I think they still do make them. It's called, You Are Special Today. If a child did something amazing, or whether it was good sportsmanship or just good manners or whatever, they got dinner that night on the special plate. Now, it could be grandma's fine china. It could be, I don't care what it is, but have a special plate that is only used when the child is being acknowledged for doing something special and exceptional. So sometimes if a family had several kids and I was able to find these, I would get them and give them to the mom and dad with, that's the family's special plate. And when the kids did something wonderful, they got to pull it out. And I don't care if it was peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It went on the special plate, and they knew that they were special that day. And a lot of times I heard from a couple families, the child would not only get breakfast, lunch if they were at school. If it was on a weekend, they'd get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or dessert, all on the special plate. So they got to have the special plate all day. And then it would be like, nanner, 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 I'm special today, to the siblings. And then the siblings would be like, so what do I have to do to get the special plate? Well, you need to do this, this, or this, okay? And then they would start acting better and doing and helping. So all good, All good. I'm just saying. All right. So special play. Welcome mats. I cannot tell you how many times I bought welcome new mats for a front door. If I took a listing and the one they had was a little loved and ready to be replaced, I had no problems in buying a new mat for the front door. If they were the buyer and there wasn't one there, I'd often pick one up and have one. Okay. Again, it's just that little extra touch that every time they see it, walk past it, walk over it, walk on it, wipe their feet on it, whatever, they think of you as well. And hopefully it's all good. Painting of the front door. Now, don't come at me going, Lynn, but HOAs don't allow you to do that. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Yes, they do allow you to paint and freshen up your door. Yes, you may need to stay within the color palette of what's there or what's approved for the area. But there is nothing better than putting a fresh coat of paint on a front door, especially if you're the listing. I can't tell you how many times I put paint on front doors. It doesn't take that long to do. And what I started doing was I'd buy the little cans, were they the quart? I think what's quarts. I'd buy them and I'd have the basic colors. I'd find out what they had. We're going to stay within a similar color palette. Sometimes if they were not in an HOA and they wanted to do turquoise or yellow or whatever, game on, let's go. So I'd have the basic colors. And I say many times, thin coat of paint just to freshen it up, made it look completely different. Then we got to the point that you could actually start mixing a little bit. So if somebody I had one that wanted a lime green one time. She had lime green on there, but it was pretty well sun faded out. So we just got a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, and we kept mixing drops and drops and drops until we came up with relatively close to the lime green. Fresh coat of paint on, there you have it. Okay, it definitely made that front door pop. Now, another thing that I used to have in my traveling, little bag was a water hose spray nozzle that would literally shoot the paint off your car. Not quite, but you get my point. It'll take down the cobwebs. And I had that. I always had one in the car with me. So if we were getting a new listing and it needed to be sprayed down, go for it. Now, my new toy. I borrowed a power washer from a friend of ours to do part of my driveway and part of my walkway, and actually the front brick steps of the house. I used it and went, dang, this is fun. So I got my brick done and went, that looks pretty good. And I just kept going. And then I kept going. And then I kept going. And then I kept going. And I would do, because it was hot. So in the evening, I'd go out and I would do one section. That was my goal, was get one section of the concrete done in the walkway. And then I'd usually get about 2 done. And then it'd be like, dang, that's dirty. And I worked my way down and did the driveway the same way. So then I thought, well, this is too much fun. I went and bought one myself. So now I'm starting to think, that's not a bad idea. They're less than $100. You don't need to get the big $200-$300 ones. Get the $100, 1,800 PSI, I think was what it was. Home Depot or Lowe's have them, again, $100 in that range. Yes, they have more expensive ones. But for this purpose, to give a fresh up to the steps or to a walkway, not a bad thing. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it, but you can loan them the power washer to do it themselves. Okay? Now, because not everybody's in a position that they can afford a couple $100 to have the house and the walkway and everything else power washed down. I will tell you, once I got started on it, it was like neighbors would stop by in their walks in the evening and go, oh my God, that looks so good. I think I need to get me a power washer. So I told them where I got it, how much it was, and they were like, oh, dang. So the next thing I'm starting to see more neighbors getting their driveways and their walkways and their front porches power washed down. Again, if I can do it, y'all can do it too. So fun, rewarding to see it come nice and clean. So there you have it. Don't overestimate the power washer. But do not use it on screens. If you're going to do your windows, take the screens out. A neighbor told me that when she said, don't ask how I know this, please. But don't use it on the screen. It'll ruin them because it's got a good punch to it. So there, we got that one down. All right. The other thing that I want to share with you, again, in this creating that wow factor, And the reason we encourage them to freshen up the front of their house, I explain to them that it's like going to the mall. And I asked, have you ever been to a mall? Of course, everybody says, yeah, and they've giggled. The stores in the mall spend a decent amount of money on having their windows displayed done, or having them painted, or product in the window that's going to grab your attention as you're walking by to draw you into the store. Now, how many times have you gone to the mall, not to make a particular purchase necessarily, you're walking down the mall, something catches your eye in a window, you go, oh my gosh, you go in and you end up buying that item or something else in there. That window display did its job. When your house is on the market, it's the same scenario. I'm getting a whew over here. When you explain it that way to your client, they get it. So if the front door needs a fresh coat of paint on it, this is why. If it needs to have the cobwebs knocked down, this is why. Because there's a for sale sign out front. People are going to drive by. If it looks a little, they're going to keep driving sometimes. Because as our market now is starting to shift a little bit, they may have 5 or 10 properties they can go take a look at now that meets their needs. And if the window display, if you will, is not attractive and captivating, they're just going to keep right on going. So that is how I explain it to my clients, so they understand why it's important. New mat. We'll hose down first. New mat. Paint the door. Fresh flowers in the flower pots. Or greenery, whatever. Because you can even get greenery in some flowers that look real from a distance. And even up close, you still go, is that real or not? Okay. So just that, polish it up. Shine it up just a little bit. Make it have that wow look. Have the wreath on the door if you need to. And yes, I've made wreaths before for clients. It doesn't take that much to do. But know that the reason you're doing all that, because if someone is driving by, you want them to slam on the brakes, just like you did when you went to the mall and saw that purse in the window, or that outfit, or that what shoes, or whatever it was, and went, oh, I love that. And you back up and go in the store. That's the same concept and the mindset you want to create with them when they are putting their house on the market. Got it? Got it, I hear. Okay, excellent. All right, so here's another great idea and fun to do. It's called, What Would You Do? This comes in really well if you've got a house that says, I need some TLC. I need a makeover, because there's a few of them out there still. So one of the things that I learned to do, which again, I've used it a couple times and it's brilliant, the psychological mindset behind this is you don't want them to come in and see the whatever. You want them to say, okay, but you want their attention to go to what it could be. You know those display boards, those 3 full display boards? You can do it on that. You can do it on a cork board, bulletin board. You can do it on whatever, I don't care, okay? Here's what goes on it. I got my little samples over here. You can go to any store and pick up a few floor samples. You can get carpet samples. They're like $1 something. If you're close to me and need one, let me know, because I have a few extras. I'll bring them sometime, and you guys can help yourself if you need to. Now, these are a little bit heavier, so you're going to need to figure out how you're going to attach them. You can glue them on. Okay, if the board, a poster board would be too flimsy to hold this. If you have a poster board or the fold-out display board, you should be able to put these in there. Okay, I'd put them at the bottom for weight purposes, but have a couple of samples of flooring. Have a couple of samples of carpet. Any store that has hardware whatsoever, that has paint, okay? So grab yourself a couple of these or a bunch of these. And on the display board, you would just fan them out and say, what color would you choose? If you were to redo this room when the house is yours, what color would you use? And what it allows their brain to do is not see what is there, but what could be there. So then they start looking at them, and then if the agent is a good agent, if they're Samson, they would be a good agent, they would ask the client, okay, so which of these would you choose? And you get them into the conversation of what it could be. I had a listing one time that, the owners were elderly and needed to be relocated, and one of the rooms really needed to be painted. So, yeah, I did this. I had my whole fan of colors up. You can even get these that have samples and rooms in them and put them on there with what would you choose. And the agent that came to show the house, she complimented me on this. She goes, brilliant. Because instead of looking at the yucky, and I went and they read the sign, what color would you choose? She says, I caught them in conversation and looking at the samples going, what color would we put in here? Okay? So I asked, I said, so what color did they choose? And she said, believe it or not, there is one on there that they want. I said, all right. I knew that I had the offer in. I says, as a thank you closing gift to them, I will get them a $25 gift card for Lowe's and some more samples, and they can go get their own paint. She goes, oh my gosh, you would do that? I said, absolutely. Okay? So, and if my side's on the buyer side, yeah, gallon of paint, let's go. So that is a great idea to use as well. What did it cost me for those samples? Okay, paint samples are free. The flooring samples may be $1. The carpet samples may be $1. But when I do the display board, it can go from property to property to property. You can do one. We actually did a workshop one time. We got all of our supplies together and we shared. And we did one for a kitchen because we went into one of the home magazines. Actually, we bought one at Home Depot and put a couple kitchen with the different colored cabinets. Okay, we did one in the bathroom, and we did one in the living room, I think, as well. What would you do? What color would you go with? Would you put carpeting down? Would you put flooring down? What would you do if it was yours? And it psychologically takes them from what's there to thinking about what it could be, because it's easy to change a paint color. It's more difficult to take down a wall. So, is that a thumbs up? Yes, it's a thumbs up. All righty, last but certainly not least, or next to last, the binder of the home owner's manual. Sorry, my brain was going, what I would often do, obviously if we were on the seller side, sometimes I'd just get a little dish pan, dollar store, and I'd put a sticker on it that says, home warranty manuals, or owner's manuals, and we would stick it up on the refrigerator or someplace. And I say, as you're cleaning out, if you find any of the owner's manuals for any of the appliances, toss them up there. Because whenever possible, we like to leave them for the new homeowner. You're not taking the appliances with you, so it's nice that they are able to have it. If they didn't, or they didn't find them, I would sometimes just go through and get the make and the model. You can go online and print them out and stick them in a 3-ring binder. You can put the dividers based off the appliance if you want. You can have the plastic pouches and just slide the stuff in there as well. So there's several ways in which to do it. Now, if you really want to be fancy, you can go online. These were available I found them on Amazon. It is the Homeowner's Book of Records. Compliments of your business card would go in there. Now, you can go fancier and get them marked with your information. I just insert your business card in there. And again, you can use it this way. Now, if you get a basic 3-ring binder with the plastic cover, create your own cover that slides in the plastic at the front. You know, book of records for appliances, owner's manuals, courtesy of your name, and you'll leave it behind. Will they keep them? Maybe. Will they trash them? Maybe. Either way, I'm okay. The fact that I left them or made sure they were there for them creates that wow factor, appreciative factor. Now, again, it didn't cost me, but a little bit of time, less than probably 20 minutes to, you know, type in the product and print out the manual, 3-hole punch them and stick them in there. But the fact is that it's being left behind, so if there's a question or a problem, they've got it at the ready. All right? There you go. Now, another one you can do is the hot water heater. You can put a label on the hot water heater, especially if there's been a home warranty purchased that would cover. And I know people that have done that. They just create themselves a big label. They stick it on the hot water heater with the home warranty company, the phone number, because I'll tell you what, if that sucker is starting to hiss and hiss, and water's coming out of it in any which direction, the last thing that homeowner needs to do is try to remember where the phone number is for the home warranty company. It is right there for them. So that is a great extra wow to do. Again, if they replace the hot water heater, who cares? It took you seconds to do it, and it's left behind, and they appreciate it. Okay? I put in small print at the bottom, I'll put my name, obviously the company, and either my email or my website, because if by chance, and I have gotten messages back that said, thank you so much for doing that. Like 2 years later, hot water heater, you know, started going out, and I didn't have to look around. It was, the home warranty company was right there, the phone number was right there, the policy number was right there, and I could call it right in. And I saw your information at the bottom in fine print. I thought, I need to say thank you. So there you have it. Okay? So, got a few wows out of that? Got a few ahos out of that? So here's what I want you to do, is obviously go back, look at your handout, look at your paperwork, say what are the things that I can put into action right now? None of these things are going to break the bank. Remember, it's all about being the uncola. It's all about being different, unique, special, creative, and thinking outside the box. As long as it is legal, ethical, and moral, you are good to go. So, in wrap down, for those that are watching it online, drop me a quick email and tell me what was your aha, your takeaway from this particular session. Let me know what it was. I'm always excited to hear what it is and what you are putting into action based off what you have just learned. So again, a thank you to Cardinal. Thank you to you. Thank you for those that showed up for the recording session as well. Appreciate you more than you know. Thank you to the team that's behind me that's making it all come together and providing all this great stuff for you guys as well. So know there's a bunch of people behind the scenes that you may never meet. Remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. Take care, be wonderful, be awesome, and go out, be wonderful, be special, make it a great day, and I will see you in the next session. Okay, bye. Bye. Bye.